In the news tonight, an update on the home quarantine and isolation program. Barbadians told not to expect a leveling out of the COVID-19 numbers for another month. The emergency houses on their way to Barbados from China. And in sports, Narayan and the Knight Riders advance to the IPL final.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Broom. Thank you so much for joining us. In our top story tonight, the COVID-19 home isolation program has been going smoothly since September. However, health officials stress the home quarantine is being done on a case-by-case basis. Over 2,000 people are registered, and according to health officials, as they change on the traffic light system, they're getting the appropriate care at the relevant facilities. The process was explained during a press conference this morning, and Wendy Burke tells us more.
The consultant in charge of home isolation, Dr. Adana Grandison, says the light is now red on over 30 people and they will be moved today.
When I look at the dashboard, I have approximately 2,532 persons in community. So that's 2,532 persons in community. At this point in time, we have 35 persons who are actively waiting to be transported urgently, so they would be collected immediately. And this number keeps changing. Even as I'm looking at the dashboard, the numbers continue to fluctuate as we move persons in and out of community. And there are persons, 247 persons, who will need to be transported within a 24-hour period.
Over 1,000 are marked safe, but some are to be reassessed. This process will involve more in-depth questions.
At this point in time, do not be surprised if they also ask you some additional questions, as opposed to just saying, well, you're positive, you can go on your way. But they actually do quite a robust job in terms of trying to find out what your comorbidity status, if you have hypertension, diabetes, any of the things that may potentially affect you with COVID, as well as your vaccination status, and also the situation in the household. We know that there are some persons in Barbados who certainly are finding this time quite challenging.
Also at the press conference was Dr. Joseph Herbert of the Barbados Association of Medical Practitioners. He was questioned about not enough doctors coming forward to deal with the COVID situation in the country.
BAMP has coordinated throughout the pandemic a volunteer response that we have many doctors who have given freely of their time to man hotlines, to vaccinate, to do swabbing. We have doctors who have volunteered to work within the clinics at the hospital, coming out of private practice to make sure that we minimize the impact.
Officials are saying if the public continues to neglect the restrictions currently in place, there will be no slowing down of the numbers. Wendy Burke, CBC News.
Thanks, Wendy. And the Barbadians are being told they should not expect a leveling out of current COVID-19 numbers for another month. This is the view of epidemiologist with the University of the West Indies, Dr. Natasha Sobers-Granum.
Our graphs initially were an underestimate because the public health measures have not been adequately followed. And so what we are seeing today is actually worse than we had projected in terms of the absolute numbers. And we're also saying that at this point we are raising, and we expect that, some level of leveling off maybe in about a week or so, or we're coming to that stage where we're leveling off, but we are still, as you can see, the graph is rising. And you can even make the comparison between what happened here in March to what's happening here. You can clearly see the differences between the alpha and the delta that we believe is circulating.
We've also received the sad news tonight that 3 more Barbadians have lost their lives to COVID-19. 2 of them, a 69-year-old man and a 61-year-old woman, died yesterday while at Harrison's Point Isolation Facility. Both were unvaccinated. The other death occurred this morning. The deceased is a 49-year-old man who passed away after spending 5 days in isolation at Harrison Point. He was fully vaccinated. To date, 104 people have died from the virus. Well, yesterday, Barbados reached a dreaded landmark when the country surpassed its 100th COVID-19 death as the current surge in cases continues. Well, Shane Jones joins us live now from the News Centre to take a closer look at the numbers so that we can get a better understanding of just how serious the impact is. Good evening, Shane.
Good evening, Lisa. Thanks. So what I'm going to do is use the stats and numbers to show exactly how the pandemic is unfolding with this new surge we are experiencing. The rising COVID-19 numbers paint a bleak picture of the increasing levels of infection in Barbados, with the cases we've been seeing spreading right across the country, but especially in the urban corridor, as the officials have been pointing out. So we've now recorded 104 COVID-19 deaths with today's latest casualties. Now, in order to get a better understanding of what's been happening in recent times, it's vital that we look back. On April 5th, 2020, it was announced that Barbados recorded its first COVID-19 death, an 81-year-old Barbadian male who had recently returned to Barbados from the United Kingdom. Now, at the time, there was no community spread, and Barbados's first death came after countries in the region like Jamaica, the Bahamas, and Martinique, who had all recorded deaths a month earlier. So there was still the perception that Barbados was coping well. Okay, so our first death was back in April last year, and it wasn't until August 31st that we reached the 50th death. So that time frame for the first 50 deaths was from April 2020 to August 2021. Now that's 16 months, almost a year and a half. Now this is where it gets extremely concerning. Our second 50 came yesterday, taking only 42 days. That's an average of just over one person, 1.2 people per day dying for the second 50. Those deaths are the reasons our curfew went back to 9 p.m. and other measures are now being taken, like the implementation of safe zones. All right, let's look now at the case numbers. To date, we have recorded 11,474 COVID-19 cases, and this number has come from a total of 345,246 tests. Just yesterday, we hit a new record when the Best of Santos Public Health Laboratory confirmed 342 new positive cases from 2,781 tests. Now, prior to October 6th, which was our second highest day for the cases, Barbados was averaging 207 new cases per day. Now, let's break it down even further. A total of 689 cases were recorded for the entire month of August. Then when we look at September, that number jumps to 3,506 cases recorded in that month. That's almost over 5 times the amount for August. Now, we're just 13 days into October. Yesterday's results are not even back yet, and we have already recorded 3,093 cases for October, already well on the way to eclipsing September's total. So, Lisa, I hope that I was able to break down the numbers in a way to really paint the picture of what's happening in Barbados regarding our COVID-19 numbers, looking at where we were and where we are today, and that you and everyone at home can truly grasp the serious challenges we are facing. Back to you, Lisa.
Thanks, Shane, for that comprehensive breakdown. Well, the Barbados Christian Council has stated it is not going the route of mandatory COVID-19 vaccination. Second Vice Chair Reverend Irma Ambrose weighed in on the matter during the Man Talk series organized by the Men's Ministry of the Cave Hill Wesleyan Church.
The Christian Council represents member churches of the Methodists, the African Methodist Episcopal Church, the Roman Catholic Church, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, the Spiritual Baptist, the Salvation Army, the Church of God, and the Anglican Church. And straight out of the wicket or the batting, you know how good I is with cricket when I start like that. Straight out, we as faith-based organizations are not mandating vaccines. The only mandate that we have as Christians is the one that we commemorate yearly, and that is on Monday, Thursday, the command to love.
Meanwhile, as government moves to establish safe zones, the Muslim Association of Barbados wants faith-based organizations included. Secretary Suleiman Bulbulia says they understand the situation and recognize what needs to be done.
The message needs to go out that we have to follow the protocols, we have to get involved in making sure that we do the right things. and many are coming around to the idea that vaccines must take place. But I'm not sure if we got to the point yet where we're going to mandate it from our level. But that is a discussion that has to happen, and it has to happen in a wider context of what is going on in the society. COVID has brought a lot of challenges, not only economically, socially, but psychologically as well. And so people are dealing with a lot of different things. And if you put another layer of that, which is vaccines, and it starts to bring another ism and schism into society, then that brings another level of departure from one another. And we don't want to have that. We want to make sure that we are talking to each other. And as Dr. Best mentioned, we need to get those facts out there.
Well, coming up on Newsnight, we'll get an update on the emergency houses coming into Barbados. The 150 emergency houses being imported from China should be on island before the end of next month. Housing Minister Dr. William Duguid made the revelation during a press conference this afternoon as he sought to reassure Barbadians the houses are good and sound. Sharika Griffith reports.
The actual houses have been shipped, and we anticipate that they will be here around the 20th of November. What we have actually started to do is to build the foundations.
Housing Minister Dr. William Duguid provided an update on how soon the 150 emergency houses can be expected on island. Post-Hurricane Elsa assessments, which have been more or less completed, show 541 houses damaged during the system will have to be rebuilt, while repairs number 421 for wooden houses and 225 for those made of wall.
The National Housing Corporation so far has mobilized 39 contractors, and they've in fact completed 21 repairs so far. The Urban Development Commission has mobilized 28 contractors, and they've completed 8 repairs. And the Rural Development Commission has mobilized 28 contractors as well, and they've completed 4. So far from a repair point of view, we've in fact mobilized already 94 contractors to be able to do the work for the repairs.
But there's been public criticism about the decision to purchase the prefabricated houses made of light gauge steel. The minister says they've been advised by engineers in the ministry there's no risk of corrosion.
These houses are good and sound, and I encourage all those who have an opportunity to benefit from an East-West house to so do. It is an opportunity to open an industry for this country and for the Caribbean. And if we can show that this is a success and make this a success story, and then these people make a decision to come and put up a facility here to construct these houses to support not only Barbados but the rest of the Caribbean, it is a win for this country.
In order to qualify for the emergency houses, people must have clear title and a large enough lot size to accommodate at least a 700 square foot house. About 40 people have so far met the criteria. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Thanks, Sharika. And Barbados is taking another step forward as it moves to Republican status. Leader of Government Business in the House of Assembly, Santia Bradshaw, announced last evening there will be a joint sitting of both Houses of Parliament for the nomination of the President on Wednesday, October 20th. And Speaker of the House, His Honour Arthur Holder, provided further details.
The sitting on the 20th would be at the Lord Erskine Sandiford Centre, which will then see the nomination for the President of the Republic of this country. For the election of the President of this fair land, and that should be at 10 o'clock in the forenoon. The question is that this Honourable Chamber be adjourned until the 20th day of October 2021 at 10 a.m. in the forenoon. All those honourable members in favour, please say aye. Those against, please say no. You think the ayes have it.
Public servants are being told they need not worry about being accused falsely of corruption as long as their motive or conduct do not reflect any traits of taking advantage of the position of which they hold. The statement from Minister of Home Affairs, Information and Public Affairs, Wilfred Abrams, as he sought to clarify the issue of bribe taking within the context of corruption. He says Barbadians must be aware that any activities engaged in must demonstrate good faith with no sinister agenda. He made the remark yesterday in the lower house during the debate to amend the Prevention of Corruption Act.
It is not simply that you have availed yourself of what may otherwise constitute an advantage under the Act. It is, was this offered to you with the intention that you would do or not do something? And did you accept it knowing that you were expected by virtue of accepting to do or not do something. So people need not worry. I mean, we get free lunches. People offer you things. People say, you know, man, you look tired. You look tired, Kerry. You look strung out. Kerry, man, come and stay at my place. Eddie, you look hungry. Come and have lunch. But if nothing is following behind that, so then it is okay.
Police investigations are ongoing after a decomposing body was found in Christchurch yesterday. The discovery was made at Kendall Hill B, Christchurch, sometime around 11 a.m. Residents reported smelling a pungent odor in an open area where the decomposing body was found. The identity of the deceased has not yet been ascertained. And police have released a video of two men they need the public's help in identifying. The two are pictured strolling along a street as is seen in this video. Now, anyone who can assist in identifying these individuals is asked to contact the QISTINS police station at 418-2612, police emergency at 211, Crime Stoppers at 1-800-8477, or the nearest police station.
Veteran West Indies batsman Chris Gayle has lambasted legendary fast bowler Sir Curtly Ambrose for publicly talking about his poor run with the bat. Sir Curtly claimed that the left-handed batsman wouldn't be an automatic pick for him in the playing 11 for the upcoming T20 World Cup, which starts on Sunday in the United Arab Emirates.
You know, before the tournament actually starts, it's not a good look, you know, and I'm speaking like Curtly Ambrose. I'm singling out Curtly Ambrose, one of y'all own. You know, Curtly Ambrose is a person I have respect, highly respected. Curtly Ambrose, you know, came into West Indies team. Curtly Ambrose is such a fun person. When I just joined West Indies team, I look up to this man. But I'm speaking from that. I don't know what, since he retired, you know, what he have against Chris Gayle, you know, because those negative things he's been saying, you know, within the press, I don't know if he's looking for attention, but he's getting the attention. So I'm just giving him back the attention he required, which he needs. So I can tell you personally, you can let him know that Chris Gayle, Universe Boss, have no respect for Curtly Ambrose whatsoever again. All right, I'm finished with Curtly Ambrose. I mean, we didn't have anything going, but Curtly Ambrose, I have no respect for Curtly Ambrose. I can tell you that. And anytime I see Curtly Ambrose, I would tell him that as well. Stop being negative and you support the team. We're here for a World Cup. The team actually selected. We need the past player to support us.
Gayle also stated he will not be silent towards any ex-West Indies cricketer who maintains a negative approach towards the team.
We don't need negative energy. You know, other teams, other past players supporting their team. Why can't our own support us in a big tournament like this? And we actually win the tournament twice, and we're going for a third title. You know, I don't have a problem with singling out me, but the team seeing what's happening, it's going to reflect on the team. And I am a senior player, and the player is going to come to me and say, listen, Chris, we saw what he said, but, you know, we know we are here with you. You know, still getting the support from my team. Right. But the past players, if they continue being negative, I am Chris Gayle, Universe Boss, is going to be disrespectful, and you're going to be disrespectful verbally in their face and in the media as well. I'm not going to take no crap from no senior player, no past players. So I will let them know the 100. So Curtly Ambrose, pull your socks up, all right? Pull your socks up, and the rest of past players, pull your socks up and support West Indies, okay? Don't act like you all weren't here before.
The Business Report, brought to you with the compliments of Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Well, there's a suggestion more needs to be done to include the average Barbadian in the development of the island's tourism product. It's coming from Chairman of the Intimate Hotels of Barbados, Mahmoud Patel, who believes the idea of green routes could reap financial benefits for rural communities. Mr. Patel was a panelist on the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association's webinar, Increasing Local Ownership in Tourism, Is It Achievable?
A guest who is staying at the Crane Hotel could get to St. Joseph. You have to go to Bridgetown and then get another bus to go to to the middle of the island or Bathsheba or so on. That is under development. And we need to break down this idea of how we create road networks, nodal networks. If we create green routes in the middle of the island, let's say you use Harrison's Cave as a central point, and then there is a bus green route going circling in some kind of defined area, you could create all kinds of micro businesses along this route that would be community driven. Like some of the guys on block areas could set up food cafes or art.
Meanwhile, financial consultant Rohan Cumberbatch says individuals can see greater economic enfranchisement if they're offered shares and lease agreements in hotel properties.
Forms of lease arrangements with absentee property owners is another good option. Some hotels could be persuaded to offer employees share ownership plans to help enfranchise their workers. As a means of raising capital and expanding ownership, can we have hotels listed on a stock exchange? That's something that we can investigate a little bit more.
Rain or cloudy conditions will not affect the operation of the hydrogen plant to be built at Harrow St. Philip by Rubis and Hydrogen de France. This is according to Press Relations Caribbean Officer Aidan Rogers, who says it will be based on a combination of renewable energy, storage technology, and on-demand hydrogen fuel power.
The distinction with this plant is that the plant is going to be so designed that what it actually designates to be supplied to the Barbados Light and Power Company, it would actually meet that capacity. So if the plant is going to be designed to provide during the daytime between 8 to 5 p.m. a continuous flow of 13 megawatts, that is what the plant has been designed to do. And that is what it would meet. So whether there's rain, clouds or not, the plant would have been so designed that it can still fulfill the obligation to provide that predetermined service during the daytime and also the service at night.
And as we wrap up, just letting you know that you can see a repeat of this morning's COVID-19 press conference at 9 p.m. Also, you can continue to follow us here on TV8, and you can also get more news on our social media platforms. We're on Instagram at CBC News Barbados and Facebook at cbcnews.bb, as well as our radio stations 947, 100.7 and 98.1 The One. And that's news. Good night.
Thanks for visiting us. To get more stories like this one, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.